This week is when the real work starts. The real work. The playoffs. The regular season is over. The Eagles finished 14-3 after a pretty solid win against the New York Giants yesterday. We'll get into all that. But we know our first round opponent, and we know the path to the Super Bowl and how it gets there. We're going to talk all about it. We're going to talk about the season in review, trending in the AM. We're back, baby. We're live in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome back to a new year and a new trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live. Facebook. Well, no Facebook. Why do I always say that? YouTube, Twitter. You know the drill. Wherever you're watching, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button on whichever platform you're watching on. Please, I can't help you enough or ask you enough. Hit that subscribe button. The race to 500 is on. We're at 336 subscribers at this moment. Let's keep that charge to 500 going. And it's been a week. It's been a nice, relaxing week on vacation, ringing in the new year with my wife and family. But we are back. We are back in the chair. We are back in the saddle. It's fantastically snowing. Not really. That's sarcasm. In the Delaware Valley. So if you are going out and about, please be careful and safe out there today. If you're staying at home, sit back with a cup of coffee and let's talk some football as the Eagles season has wrapped up, regular season has wrapped up, and we are set for the playoffs to begin. Guys, I am Phil Stiefel, your host. You can find me on all social media platforms at Beard of Knowledge. Greatly appreciate a follow, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you find me. And guys, yes, Rick, welcome back. I'm back. Slightly refreshed. Yesterday was a long day. Well, I might have caught a little bug towards the end of that vacation. I'm not 100% today. By the way, it's definitely not 100%. But we had a nice little relaxing vacation getaway. Checked out a social media 99%. Checked out a sports 99%. But you know what? We're back because, this is what we do. 1 week. That was the longest week since I started making content in April of 2020. That's the first time I've taken 8 days off from producing content. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. 8 days off of content creation. It's an insane thing when you do it literally all day, every day. But we get back in the saddle. The Eagles yesterday wrapped up their regular season with a 20-13 win over the New York Giants. The Tanner McKeesters are going to be out in full force today. The Jalen Hurts haters out in full force today. We're going to talk about the game a bit. We're going to talk about the Eagles' opponent, which will be the Green Bay Packers, bringing the whole season full circle from the start of the year in Brazil. The Eagles will take on the Green Bay Packers next Sunday at 4:30. We got lots to get into this week with that matchup. Whatever else you guys want to talk about, whatever I missed over the last week, maybe towards the end of the show, we might dive into the FS1 allegations or save that for later in the week. We'll see how that conversation goes. That's a more serious one. Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, whatever else you guys want to talk about. I will cut the show, even though it's the first show back. I will cut it a little short. I do have a driveway to shovel. I do have to get to the pizza shop today. But we'll get into that as the week goes on. Yes, I am back, baby. Boom. Nice to see this offense when the ball is spread around. Yeah, I mean, Tanner McKee looked very fluid and very good in the first half, especially, and in parts of the second half as well yesterday. Let's remember, let's not overhype Tanner McKee too much. Tanner McKee looked great yesterday, but half that defense of the Giants yesterday, maybe more than half that defense, wouldn't even be second stringers on good teams. There's a lot of bad defense by the Giants yesterday, especially their secondary. But whatever, it's all good. Tanner McKee had a great game. He looked fluid. He threw with anticipation. He went through his progressions, scrambled when necessary. He did his thing, and the running game was not effective yesterday against the Giants. So props up to Tanner McKee. Howie Roseman, we'll get into it in the offseason, Rick, but Tanner McKee's good, or Howie Roseman's going to have a choice to make. Tanner McKee or Kenny Pickett. He's going to have to trade one in the offseason. And it's going to be a hot topic. I'm sure we spend a lot of time discussing what their trade values are come the offseason. So we'll see. Good morning, little G. Let's beat those Packers. Absolutely. Vikings stink. I don't know about that. Giants too stink. That I do agree with. Chet, Happy New Year to you. Welcome back. Thank you very much. Rick, Eagles win by 10 points on Sunday. We'll see. We got to wait to see. It looks like Jordan Love's injury wasn't as serious, according to some reports later on in the evening last night. More of like a stinger that he caught that put some numbing in his hand. Almost sounded like if it was a playoff game, he would have gone back in there yesterday. But the Christian Watson injury is something to monitor as well. They lost Jair Alexander, their lockdown corner for the playoffs. So the Packers are beat up. They're not the same team we beat week one, but they're also not healthy. So we'll get into that as the week goes on. But big picture, I do feel as long as Jalen Hurts clears concussion protocol, that this Eagles team will have no problem beating the Green Bay Packers on Sunday next week. What do you expect from McKee's first playoffs? Q. What are you doing, Tech? Why are you playing me like that? Let's not play that game. Let's not do it. Let's not do it yet. Although there is a thought process in my mind, Tech, that the fact that Jalen Hurts hasn't cleared yet. And I said it when that injury happened on this very show the next day, that it was an eerily similar hit that Carson Wentz took that pretty much derailed his career. And I'm going to write Carson Wentz's name down here because I want to talk about Carson Wentz a little bit later in this show. That concussion was a lot worse than people realized at the time. A hit to the back of the head, driving it into the ground, eerily similar. So there is a 1% chance that Tanner McKee or that Jalen Hurts isn't cleared. I think he cleared. I think he's cleared. I think he'll be fine. But there's that small little window, and it's kind of concerning. It is. Lions are epic. The Detroit Lions, I didn't watch much of the game. I went to bed at like 8:15 last night. I ain't going to lie. Long day traveling home from the cruise. But, yeah, the Lions are a damn good team. And Jamar Gibbs, we all criticized the Detroit Lions organization for drafting him, with the 12th or 18th pick in the first round a few years. Like we all questioned that. We all said it was a crazy move. The kid's turning. I don't know how he's not. What's he got? After last night, close to 20 touchdowns combined on the season. He ain't in the MVP conversation. Neither is Saquon Barkley, but both running backs should be. Jamar Gibbs has had a great season so far. McKee will be kept over Pickett, and it ain't even close. See, the thing is, I don't want to get too detailed in this, Rick, and I know the McKeesters are going to want to talk about Tanner McKee today, and I'm fine with that. I get that. Let me tell you something. Who's going to fetch you more in a trade scenario? The young Tanner McKee, who we just all saw front and center, or Kenny Pickett, who we have 3 years of film on, and we know what he is. You might get a third or fourth round pick for Kenny Pickett. You might get a lot more than that for Tanner McKee. This quarterback draft, there's a lot of quarterback needy teams that aren't in a position to draft the quarterback, Rick. You might be able to weasel a top-end second-round pick for Tanner McKee. Maybe more. Just think, you're not getting that for Kenny Pickett. Just saying. So just throwing that out there. Think about that. Some sites have Huff move his third worst off-season move. Bryce Huff, Bryce Huff was not a good move. Bills, Chiefs, Lions, Eagles. I would almost say Lions, Bills, Eagles, Chiefs. Cruises are full of germs and saying, it is what it is. I've been on plenty of them. So McKee is eventually Hurts replacement. No, stop. Not happening. Jalen Hurts is here for good. Good morning. Happy Monday, Judd, to you as well. Hope you're well. It's do or die now moving forward. That is right. No more excuses, Tiger. No more excuses for anybody. This is when the real season begins. This is what we build to all year long. I'm glad our team rested its starters yesterday. We saw injuries across the NFL. So, especially playoff team injuries, by not resting their starters. So, let's hope this team is healthy. Let's hope this team has a great week of practice. Let's hope this team doesn't miss a beat. Let's hope. We're going to see, though. We'll see it. Sunday, 4:30, that's like the prime time for a playoff game on the weekends. I love 4:30 games. I hate 8 o'clock games on Sunday. But 8 o'clock on Saturday night and 4:30 on Sunday should be the two best games. And I don't even know what the 8:30 game is. Sam Darnold's a fraud. Well, he's having a hell of a season. Let's not knock him. Bills crushed the Eagles. We didn't play the Eagles this year, so Bills versus Broncos in the AFC Championship. I haven't looked at the AFC bracket. Is that even possible, Rick? I'm not sure. If it is, that would be interesting for sure. Bo Nix, man, I watched a little bit of his game last Saturday before vacation. Maybe it was on Sunday. I don't know. I watched a little bit of his game last week. Watched a little bit of his game yesterday as well. That kid can run. He can throw. The Broncos, I said it on this show after the draft. Some of the later guys like Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and J.D. McCarthy, I had more confidence in the draft than the guys like Drake May and Jane Daniels. I know Jane Daniels has been good, and I hated Caleb Williams. And we see what Caleb Williams did with the Bears this year. I was high on Bo Nix. He had a lot of experience starting in college. So yeah, according to him, obviously this can't happen if that's what the first round matchup is. So yeah, I guess the Bills Broncos AFC Championship game can't happen. Honestly, Reddick is number one offseason move. I say probably. Rob Kurum, I don't even know who that is. Bo Nix looks like the real deal. He's a rookie, and I was having this conversation on Twitter yesterday with some people that we often put way too much pressure on young rookie quarterbacks after a few good games or one good season. Then they hit the rookie wall because they got these expectations that are put so high, Rick. He has all the makings to be a great quarterback. He's got a strong head coach who's had success with quarterbacks in the past. They're going to be in a position now that they got a young, cheap quarterback where they're going to be able to build that team around him even better every single offseason. So Bo Nix and the Broncos are a team. If the next team that's got a chance to take down the Chiefs is Bo Nix and the Broncos in the future. Now, I'm not ready to put them in the championship or anything like that yet, but we'll see. Jobs far from over. Jobs far from over. It's not the goal to be here. Absolutely correct. Now, I know a lot of last week while I was away and not on social media, there was a lot of talk if a loss would get Nick Sirianni fired and whatnot. Let me clarify. I don't think a loss to the Packers on Sunday means the end of Nick Sirianni. Let's not forget Nick Sirianni is now 48-20. But it would be a massive disappointment of a season if they go down and lose next week to the Packers. Just throwing that out there. Blake Corum. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I don't know. Broncos in AFC title game. That means they have to beat the Buffalo Bills to get to that. I don't know. We'll see. Broncos blow. We've got more Broncos comments than Eagles comments. Playoff football is here, baby. That's right, Stevie Fuentes. That's what we do. That's what we do it all for this chance for a Super Bowl. This is why we bleed green. We bleed green for this chance. So, was this season a success at this point? Yes. But it's not a success if we don't finish the job. And I don't even know what level this team has to get to for me to consider it a successful season for the Eagles. A loss next week or later on Sunday, it's a disappointing season. They get to the next round, say they have to face the Vikings. I'm just throwing out scenarios, and then they lose. That'd be disappointing, but not a disappointment. There's a difference between disappointing and a disappointment. So I don't know what level this Eagles team has to ascend to for it not to be a disappointment. But this team is built to make it all the way. I don't think it's Eagles and it's the Lions. And I guess the Vikings as well. They're the three teams that have a true shot at representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. And I don't think anybody else can stand up to them. It's just which two of those teams make it to the championship game. That's basically what the question is. Hashtag Kelsey is afraid of Broncos. Maybe. I don't want to knock the Packers. The Packers are a strong team. They're better than they were in week 1 in Brazil. But depends on the situation with Christian Watson, Jordan Love, etc. They are a banged up team. And that's why it's so great to get these wins early, build up that big win streak, be able to rest starters because we're going to be healthy, barring any more setbacks for Jalen Hurts and his concussion. Sorry, my bad. I don't know every player on the LA Rams, my man. It would be a massive disappointment if they lose to the Packers, especially since they didn't go for the rushing. I know you love that rushing record. Well, you know what? You see injury. The Packers might have lost Christian Watson for the year yesterday. You know, the difference between playing us and someone else. You know, no, I'm still strongly against playing Saquon for the rushing record, and you won't convince me otherwise. We need to start using more for Phil. Oh, okay, sure. Knock yourself out. Eagles dominate the Packers on Sunday. I think dominate's going to be a push. I mean, we all remember, and if you don't, I could go over it. I've got the box scores up for the entire week. Look, the Packers are a good football team. They just have some injury issues. And we'll see what that injury report looks like as the week goes on, Rick. I think that'll be the big part of this whole conversation. But we did learn in yesterday's game some things about the Eagles' backups, the Eagles' depth. Someone like Jahan Dotson, who had a big game. You know, there's a reason why he doesn't get the touches because A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, you're that special. Maybe he didn't have chemistry with Jalen Hurts early in the season as well, but, you know, we'll see. But we got some pretty strong backups. Kenny Gainwell had a solid game. Will Shipley had some moments in the running game. Our entire offensive line, we had all backups, and Tyler Steen for a little while. And our offensive line did not miss a beat yesterday. At least they were actually a better pass blocking offensive line than run blocking offensive line yesterday, which it's normally the opposite. That offensive line that we saw yesterday would have start for a lot of teams. That would be the starting offensive unit for the Giants in a regular season game. Pretty much any one of those guys could have started for the Giants, which is just crazy. Just what Stoutland University does. Jordan Love is a very good quarterback. I do know that. We have to get confirmation through the week that his hand is okay. When you hit your hand, you don't have any feeling in your hand. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of nerve issues that you could deal with there. So we've got to get confirmation that Jordan Love is good to go before we talk Jordan Love in the game. No, who's Patrick Mahomes? I'm not sure who that is. I never heard that guy. The 12 said they thought you retired. Yeah, well, I did not. And we're missing a lot of the core 12. I told y'all, you don't pay attention to what I say. You're just worried about your comments. You don't listen to what I say. I said I was taking a week off. Told y'all multiple times I was taking a week off. Now the core 12's disappeared. They've disappointed me. They let go of me. They've moved on. So disappointing. Stoll cut, so who cares? Lots of veterans getting cut to sign. The Eagles ain't bringing anybody in, okay? They're just not. The Eagles are not bringing anybody else in this year. Just say that. Eagles versus Green Bay, Eagles versus Tampa, Washington, Eagles versus Rams. That's Noom's playoff push. If that's all we got to face, man, that's a slam dunk. That's a slam dunk Super Bowl appearance right there. Good morning, Duck. Happy New Year to you. Hope you are well. Missed talking to y'all last week. Dotson should be more engaged in the playoffs now. He was out there just doing cardio before yesterday. Yeah, I mean, we all knew Jahan Dotson was a talented wide receiver. He was with Washington. He had a big game against us last year. Or was that 2 years ago? When you got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, it's tough, for sure, to get targets. But he also did not look engaged, throughout the regular season. So I think they put up a stat during the game yesterday, Tech. Was it like he had the most snaps out of any wide receiver versus targets thrown his way this year? I forget what the stat was exactly, but it was a 6 stat. That he had, like 20 targets, like 600 snaps, like something insane like that. Now maybe he got some of that confidence back yesterday. So, that's good. That's very important. That's very good. You had a camera and Wi-Fi, son. I did. So what? So you don't pay me to do this on my vacation. My boy, I need a vacation sometimes. It was very relaxing to take off of social media. The Beef Wellington on, that was, what night of the cruise was that? That New Year's Eve or I think it was New Year's Day was the Beef Wellington. For cruise ship main dining room, because if you've ever been on a cruise, you get the main dining room. Then you got the specialty restaurants. The main dining room foods, go hit or miss sometimes. They're feeding 5,000 people, within a 2-hour window. Sometimes it can be hit or miss. Beef Wellington was phenomenal. It was great. It wasn't a perfect Beef Wellington because They didn't have the Parma ham wrapped around it, but they had the duxelle. They had everything else to it and all. A great sauce with a great mashed potatoes and veggies. The beef Wellington was phenomenal. Dotson is talented, but Hurts doesn't trust him. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to develop trust and confidence in a wide receiver when you've got Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts has A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Saquon Barkley going for 2,000 yards. There's only so many targets to go around. If he would have given Dotson 3 more targets a game, that's 3 less rushes for Saquon, 2 more less targets for A.J. Brown, who's going to complain. There's a lot going on there. So, but it's great to know you have him in the bag if there is a problem. And I saw somebody else tweet yesterday. He looked pretty good doing it yesterday. I don't like Cooper DeJean punt return. I don't like that risk of injury. Throw Jahan Dotson back there as a punt return. He did some nice things yesterday in a few punts. Dankfield, you had Wellington? Hey, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd never miss Wellington night on a cruise ship. One of the best. McKee has great arm talent and anticipation, great football IQ, cannon for an arm. Yeah, look, so he has great arm talent and anticipation. He had a high football IQ yesterday. He had a strong arm yesterday. But again, for the McKeesters, let me remind you, we're going up against the Giants, the 3-14 Giants. There's a reason why they're 3-14. There's a reason why they've one of the worst defenses in football. So let's just slightly pump the brakes on the McKeesters. At this point, I'm trading Tanner McKee in the offseason over Kenny Pickett just because he'll fetch you more based off of that. I saw somebody tweet out Tanner McKee's feeding families. No. Tanner McKee fed his family for a generation yesterday because someone's going to give him a bag to come in there and be a shot. Because, why not? I mean, the quarterback class this year in the draft is okay. I mean, at least 6 or 7 quarterback needy teams, at least. There's a team out there dumb enough to throw the Eagles a top-end second-round pick for Tanner McKee. I guarantee you that. And if you're Howie, give me a second and a third or second and a fourth that's conditional to a third. I'm trading Tanner McKee like that. No way. No problem at all. I wouldn't say that. That's a little push there. Hashtag cover Kelsey. Close, yeah. Say that cash money. What? What are you saying? I would. Oh my god. Oh my god. You guys fighting in the chat? Jeez, relax. There's so many teams that need quarterbacks. At least with McKee, you know what he is. We know what Kenny Pickett is too. Kenny Pickett is a backup quarterback. Kenny Pickett's not a starter in the NFL anymore, but he's a serviceable backup. Is what you need. A guy that'll come in mid-game and keep you in contention in the game, and a guy that can come out and play solidly for one game. Tanner McKee might be a starter. He might not be a starter in the NFL. We don't know. But after yesterday, people are going to believe he's a starter. And teams that miss out on their guy in the draft might be willing to make a trade and give up big money for Tanner McKee or big assets for Tanner McKee. When I saw Tanner McKee playing yesterday, I was thinking of that kid, what was his name? Matt Flynn. He got like a $70 million contract after playing one game, the last game of the year, and putting up stats. But he was nothing. He was a backup. You just never know. And you got to remember, Giants were playing backups. Well, their starters are backups. And then they didn't even have all their starters in. And honestly, let's be honest, guys. The Eagles against the Giants put up a grand total of 20 points yesterday. They played great yesterday. I know. Tanner McKee, 27-41, 269, 2 touchdowns. Just over 100 rating. They put up 20 points yesterday. Let's not forget that the Eagles' offense that was so great yesterday put up a grand total of 20 points. Let's just remember that, okay? Need somebody to throw a high pick for McKee. Somebody might do it. You might not get a top 10 pick for him. You might not get a first-round pick. But you might get a second-round pick, or you might get something where you get a third-round pick and then a future pick that's either a first or a second, depending on the condition. Something like that. McKee is a great backup quarterback. He will have a solid QB2 career, keeping offense afloat when the starter is out. Yeah, I agree with that. But I think there are teams that are willing to risk that he's more than that. McKee is a great quarterback for me. Oh, whatever. The 2Ks. Yesterday was a Week 18 preseason game, essentially. Exactly. And everybody's hyping it up because of McKee. But guys, come on now. Let's relax. Let's de-hype yesterday a little bit. The best parts of yesterday was that you had to use Jordan Davis and Milton Williams and they didn't get hurt. The best parts of yesterday is we got to see a little bit of tape on Trotter Jr. and some other young guys, Sidney Brown. We got to see a little tape on what Will Shipley is capable and not capable of at this point. That's what we got to see. We got scared a little bit more about Jake Elliott missing another field goal. Jake Elliott, that's a problem. But, let's put it what it is. Good morning, Anthony. Happy New Year to you. 20 points against a terrible Giants team that wasn't even trying. They were trying to. I tweeted that out early in the game. This Giants team doesn't want to win the game. And it was a 7-point game. So let's pump the brakes on the excitement from yesterday's game just a little bit. I mean, you could be excited about Eagles versus Packers and this playoff push. Again, barring Hurts being cleared and all. But if you put Tanner McKee out there against the Packers next week, the season's over. Hurts throws 3 touchdowns on Sunday. Barkley rushed for 150. You got the Eagles putting up, what's that, 4 touchdowns. That's 28, 30, 37 points at least against the Packers next week. I don't know about that. This Eagles team don't put those kind of numbers up regularly. But I would love to see it. And it would really piss a lot of people off if that happened. McKee made some bad reads yesterday. You can see why he's a backup, but he may be able to be coached and something. Yeah. Absolutely agree with you. I mean, in the first half, he didn't make any bad reads. The second half, he had some moments. The defense of the Giants adjusted a little bit, had a little bit of an idea what he was trying to do. They figured it out a little bit on him. He still made some plays in the second half. But again, pump the brakes on the Tanner McKee hype train. Darnold, if you can hear this, you're just in a rare form today of hating people. It bothers me how much the narrative yesterday felt like they want McKee to become the guy here over. So many Eagles fans do. Because no matter what, there's always going to be, Steve, that group of people that hate Jalen Hurts. Just like the amount of people that still think. I was arguing with somebody saying that we didn't go 14-3 because of Nick Sirianni. We went 14-3 because of everybody else. Nick Sirianni is 48-20 as the Eagles head coach. He is number 1 among active head coaches in winning percentage. 3rd all time since the Super Bowl era started in winning percentage. You got to give Nick Sirianni some credit. But nobody wants to give Sirianni or Jalen Hurts credit for anything. They always want the next big thing. We got where Huff is, and Goddard got to knock the rest off. Yeah, we got to see where Bryce Huff is, which I saw him getting a few pressures, but nothing special. Dallas Goddard knocked the rust off big time, which was very good too. Made some nice catches for Tanner McKee yesterday. Happy New Year to you as well, Anthony. I'm glad to be back. What do we got here? From Twitter, they are not from Philly Podcast, I suppose, except the first or second, but I would rather keep him as number 2. He has a great attitude. Yeah. Look. I'm not saying I want to trade Tanner McKee. I'm just saying in that scenario, and I hate it when we're kind of stuck in this narrative on the future when this season is not even close to over, hopefully. But the point of trading McKee is that his value is higher than Tanner McKee or than Kenny Pickett. It just depends on what you value. Tanner McKee and a 4th for Kenny Pickett, or Kenny Pickett and a 2nd for Tanner McKee. Like, what would you rather? So that's what it gets to me. And I think in either scenario, I'd be okay. Vike showed that the Lions. I absolutely agree that the Lions are the real deal. That was a Super Bowl atmosphere in Detroit last night for the first 2 minutes before I fell asleep. Eagles scored 34 points on Green Bay in September. They did. Absolutely, they did. For sure. But that's like, what, 1 of 3 times that they scored 30 points? James Cook leads league in rushing touch, but not playoffs. Make that make sense? What? I can't make sense. He leads the league in rushing tuds, but not playoffs. Well, I know he's got a lot of rushing touchdowns, but I don't understand the playoffs thing. Phil, did you hear Shil Kapadia say that the Packers are the best 7th seed ever? They are top 5 in DVOA and on offensive defense. No other 7th seed has been. Look, there's a lot of weirdness with the playoff seeding. I know there's a narrative that there's going to be a push to reseed after the playoffs start. that the division winners make the playoffs, but you don't get a top 4 seat for being 9-8 or something like that. The Packers are better than the 7 seed, probably. I get it. The fact that the 3 wildcard teams are better than the NFC South champion Buccaneers. I mean, it's something. I get it. I still think the Eagles could beat the Packers. I don't think it's a pushover. 10-point big game like some think. We have to wait to see what the Packers' injury statuses are throughout this week before I really give you thoughts on the game. Okay. I got you. See, I wasn't on social media a lot on vacation, Doc, but occasionally I was sitting there at the bar waiting for a drink and paged through my screen. I saw so many articles and posts about somebody started some rumor that if the Eagles lose, Nick Sirianni is fired. And honestly, I hope not. Even if they lose. Unless they go out there and lose 40-0, it's just complete and total disaster. The team starts chirping on him and stuff like that. Outside of that, I don't know. But you look around the NFL and how many bad coaches there are in the NFL. We used to have the conversation, if Howie Roseman or Nick Sirianni were fired, who would get signed first? I'm now into believing that if Nick Sirianni was fired on Monday morning next week, he'd have a job by the end of the week. No doubt about it. Because 48-20 is 48-20. Plain and simple. I don't even know who started that rumor or conversation. He's going to get an extension this offseason because he would be a lame duck coach if he didn't next year. McKee has decent pocket footwork, not as elite as Foles in pocket footwork, but his timing made good use of Dotson as an X receiver. The timing is there, pure pocket. He is a pure pocket passer, for sure. Breaking news: Jaguars just fired Peterson. I'm surprised they didn't do it sooner, earlier in the season. Steve, definitely a guy that I thought should have gotten fired. Was Doug Peterson a one-hit wonder with Philly? I don't know. Doug Peterson will probably take a break, I think, after this year. I think he's going to take a break, and then you'll see him come back in 2026. He'll get one more chance to prove that his time in Philly wasn't a fluke. But the Jaguars did go downhill after his first year with them. They had that big win against the Chargers in the playoffs, and then nothing since then. Sirianni should be in the running for coach there. He should be. He's not, but he should be. He should definitely get an extension, though. Eagles knock out the Lions in the NFC title game. Love the confidence on this overreaction Monday. I really do. I love that, Rick. The Lions will be an extremely difficult test if that's the way it works, Rick. Extremely difficult. They run the ball well. They pass the ball well. They play great team defense. They do it all. So do we. But not Pro Bowl, I mean. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I didn't really get too much in the Pro Bowl. They came out while I was on vacation. I saw who the Eagles had get in. I didn't even look at who else got in. The Pro Bowl is meaningless other than bonuses. Rams had trench injuries and no Puka Cup versus Arizona and Chicago. Meanwhile, they beat Buffalo, Vikings, and had taken Detroit to overtime. Super Bowl winning head coach. Yeah, look, I predicted the Rams as my sleeper team to win the NFC West this year. Actually, no, I predicted them straight up, not as a sleeper. They were my sleeper team to make a deep run this year in the regular season or before the season started. I told everybody to watch out for the Rams. Even when they were 1-3 or 1-4, I said, watch out for the Rams. So, yeah, they're a team that could shock somebody in the playoffs. I don't think they're good enough to win enough games to get to the Super Bowl, but they're good enough to shock somebody in maybe the division round. So I'd be concerned about facing the Rams. I like you get the seeds based on winning division and bring drama into the wild card. It does. And it's the way it's been for a long time. But the Vikings being 14-3 in the 5 seed I get the frustration there. I really, truly do. 12-win Washington being the 6 seed, 11-win Packers being the 7 seed kind of sucks. You know what I mean? But it is the rules. It's the way it is. I'm behind on comments. I don't know what that's for. Jacob's the only player on the Packers that gives me a reason to worry. Love isn't anything special. Their wide receivers are all number 2s. I love that part of it. Wide receivers are all number 2s and one's hurt. I think the Eagles with the rest as long as Jalen Hurts clears concussion protocol. McKee does one thing that Hurts doesn't do enough. He leads receivers. Absolutely. See, I kind of hinted at this a few weeks back, and doesn't really get much talk. Jalen Hurts is who he is. He's a winning quarterback, okay? His style quarterback is all around the NFL, and it doesn't get the respect it deserves because people are still stuck in the you have to lead the receiver, pocket, passer kind of thing. He is who he is, Jalen Hurts. And his record shows that what he does well is good enough to outweigh what he doesn't do well. So what McKee does well, some of the things Hurts does well, McKee does terribly at. So, look, it's one or the other. I get it. But McKee, I'm not going to take that one game and overvalue him like some others will. I think Doug should be a college head coach. All his stuff with giving the players ice cream would go. Yeah, he seems like a guy that wants to develop kids and stuff like develop young men. His philosophies, his way of doing business feels like it would be suited to the college ranks for sure. But I do think someone like Doug, who's had 2 bad endings back to back, probably could use a break. Mailata should be named All-Pro this week, but not Pro Bowl, right? Because he didn't. Did he? Hold on. Who on the offensive line didn't make the Pro Bowl? Jordan Mailata is the best left tackle in football. Rams are a scary team offensively, but any team in the playoffs could score on them. Possibly. We did shut down the Rams. Absolutely, we did. But the Vikes should destroy whatever team they are up against in the wild card. That would really mix it. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't even know what the brackets are at this point. I'll go into that later today. Not for nothing, but it wasn't like DP was given his choice of quarterback and was saddled with Trevor Lawrence. Look, but Trevor Lawrence in his first year with Doug Peterson did go upward. And then after that, it went downhill quickly. And I think Trevor Lawrence is slightly overrated for sure, Nooms. But on the flip side of that equation, that team has been really bad now for the last 2 years. So I was shocked that at their bye week he wasn't fired, to be honest with you. And maybe if he was fired, then maybe he would be a coach next year. But, it is Doug Peterson isn't going to go as an offensive coordinator somewhere. Doug Peterson isn't going to go be a wide receivers or quarterbacks coach anywhere. Doug Peterson is a head coach of a pro or college team. And if he's not, he probably won't get another job. So, he will get another opportunity. We'll just see when that is. I'd love to see McKee scramble for a first down on 3rd and 8 to keep a drive alive. Exactly. So what Hurts does, McKee doesn't. What McKee does, some of it Hurts doesn't. Look, it is what it is. We just have to learn to accept that there's more than one style of quarterback in the NFL. And one style isn't better than the other necessarily. Plain and simple. There's a lot of average quarterback play out there. So Jalen Hurts is just fine being our quarterback, for sure. How about Doug Nussmeier getting production out of 3 different style quarterbacks this year? Yeah. Kenny Pickett won a game. Tanner McKee. And obviously Jalen Hurts. Happy New Year, K1. Welcome back to the Core 10. I thought you changed it to the Core 10 there. I see the 2 1s there at the end. Hope you are well. Hope everybody is well. Hope everybody had a great New Year's holiday. I know I did. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Please hit share on this video. We're back. We got to start all over again, rebuilding this algorithm this year. We're at 336 subscribers to start the show. I did get 9 cruise ship guests to subscribe to the show. So, guys, pump that up for me. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you all had a great New Year. Thank you for allowing me time, other than TMC not allowing me time, complaining I took a week off. But, it is what it is. Can't make everybody happy. Thank you all very much. Can't wait to see what this New Year brings to this channel, to my content, to everything. And stay tuned, K1, for you. Tomorrow, 6 p.m., Season 5 of Fairway to Heaven kicks off. Jason and I, and Stevie Fuentes, who's now going to be a regular fixture on the show. We're talking Sony Open. Sony Open. Let's get to the golf talk tomorrow, K1. Mailata is not getting Pro Bowl nods because votes hate the fact he basically did an NFL walk-on. Yeah, maybe that has something to do with it, for sure. Probably are enough. See, here. So I made a joke. It did. There's a lot of jokes I made yesterday. Some were very funny. Some people didn't pick up on others. So I made a joke yesterday. Everyone's like, trade Kenny Pickett right now. So I made a joke yesterday that Kellen Moore's going to get a head coaching opportunity this offseason. And whatever team he goes to, he's going to convince that GM to trade for Tanner McKee. There you go. Maybe Doug becomes the offense coordinator next year. I don't know. Does he have any play calling experience in his career? I don't know. I'd prefer somebody with play calling experience, play calling success, because then if not, then you'll get more Nick Sirianni calling plays, and we know that doesn't work necessarily. Freddie Defo, Happy New Year to you as well. Fairway tomorrow. Let's go. Season 5, baby. That's right. Golf Talk is back. Almost it. No, I shouldn't say almost. I had a top 5 on my outrights last week for the century. It is pure jealousy that a physically talented person with great coaching can be great at the pro level. Pretty much. I mean, I've said it before. Just put Jeff Stoutland in the Hall of Fame. He could be the first offensive line coach in the history of the NFL to make the Hall of Fame. Just do it. I mean, look what he did yesterday. You had Nick Gates, Trevor Keegan, Tyler Steen for a portion of it, Darren Kennard, Fred Johnson. Who's the other one? I don't even remember what the other name was out there. You had a bunch of nobodies out there. They would all start it on the Giants yesterday. I think Tanner McKee took 2 sacks. Crazy. What? Breaking news. Terran Arnold is out. I didn't watch any of the game. Damn. Detroit and those injuries, man. Yo, give give Dan Campbell Coach of the Year. Honestly. To have that record, with what's that put? Terran Arnold would be like the 26th player to go on IR. Like, that's insane. To have them win that many games, lock up the number 1 seed, and never miss a beat with all the injuries that they've faced, I don't think we've done enough service to crediting it as an Eagles, channel, as a Philadelphia channel. We haven't given enough credit to how great Detroit has been coached this year. When you face the adversity that they faced all year long, and also having 2 other very good teams in the Vikings and Packers in their division, Dan Campbell should be the Coach of the Year, in my opinion. He should be. I mean, that's crazy that they're down another guy. Damn, I feel bad for my man Jason. His Lions are taking a beating, but they keep on ticking. And I hope we face him in championship game, because then that week we'll have Jason on the show many a times to bash his Lions. We are lucky that Stoutland's family loves the area and likes the pay. He could be anywhere in the league. One of the best things that came out. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think Jeff Stoutland has any, just like Vic Fangio doesn't want to be a head coach, I don't think Jeff Stoutland wants to be more than an offensive line coach. Like, I don't think he has a desire to be an offensive coordinator or a head coach. At least that's what I understand from interviews I've seen. I'm sure there's another team that might want to pay him more to do the same thing. But yeah, he's happy here. His family's happy here. For all the people that say Philly's awful, a lot of coaches and players love the city, love living in the city, love being around the city. A lot of players leave to finish their career, then come back here and live here because of how great this city is. So Stoutland and his family love it here. And it is one of the best things that came out of Chip Kelly. Someday maybe I'll do that. Best things that Chip Kelly ever brought to this city. I don't know. I know Kiko Alonso wouldn't be one of them. But, that's that. But anyway, back to the conversation at hand here. Back to the fact that I do want to throw one other side little comment in here. And I didn't realize how many people had bitter feelings towards him. I was watching the Chiefs-Broncos game yesterday, and it was getting out of hand in the second half. And they transitioned to a more competitive game, as they say on the air, unless you were in Denver or KC. And I tweeted out that it's a shame that Carson Wentz potentially his last game as a quarterback in the NFL, because he doesn't look like a quarterback in the NFL anymore after yesterday, was so bad that they had to defer away from it. So I just put out there, it's a shame that that's where his career ended, or how his career transpired and played out. I feel bad for the guy. And I got so much Carson Wentz hate from Eagles fans in the reply. And look, Carson Wentz, it is what it is. One of my worst takes of all time, because I thought he was elite. But we don't win the 2017 Super Bowl without his regular season MVP caliber performance. He carried that 2019 team. That concussion ruined his career. Yeah, he wasn't a team player. He wasn't a great locker room presence, but he was a talented quarterback. And I feel bad that so many guys out there, so many people out there hate on him so much. It's a shame. It really is. Stout and Vic be the core of the coaching staff as young coaches move on. Absolutely. And we're going to need to figure out the offense coordinator position potentially. And I don't know. I haven't heard Kellen Moore's name in rumor mills just yet. couple positions have opened up. Jared Mayo with the Patriots. His job opened up. So maybe we luck out and Kellen Moore stays another year, which would be fantastic. I love the Kiko Alonso trade. You trade LaShawn McCoy or Kiko Alonso straight up. Tell me that that's not something right there. Yeah. I mean, that was before Chip Kelly took over player personnel decisions, I believe. I think that was the year Howie was still in charge of that. But yeah, Lane Johnson and Jeff Stoutland are probably the two best things that came out of that 3-year era. We are lucky that Andy Reid left his imprint here on how important offensive line play is. Yeah, I think it's a combination of Howie Roseman and Joe Banner. Pushed that on to Howie Roseman, who pushed that onto the coaches, and the coaches listened. Yeah. Believing that the trenches are important. Yeah. Carson Wentz was just, I watched so many passes yesterday. He was just a foot off on so many passes. And he hadn't played much this year. I get that. But, man, his career has really come downhill. Who's this guy? 33. I got a few while I was on vacation. 33 to your 369. Which means we haven't gained any new subscribers this show. We started the show at 336. So, come on. Hit that subscribe button if you aren't right now. Hit that like button, that share button, guys. Any thoughts on Penn State versus Notre Dame? Huge game for this area. You're going to be a busy man Thursday at the shop. I am not a huge college football guy. I was watching a little bit of the Notre Dame game. Big sports bar on the cruise ship that was on. There are not a lot of Notre Dame fans on the ship. I don't have any thoughts just yet. Give me some time to really think it out. I'll do a little bit of a talk on it. Penn State's a really good team. Notre Dame's a really good team. I love the playoff scenario that they had. I'm just not a Penn State or Notre Dame fan. So I have no horse in the race, so to speak. Exactly. It's not a Philly school. It's not. But Notre Dame, there's a lot of Notre Dame fans, and a lot of people didn't go to, and every Irish person thinks they're a Notre Dame fan, too. Wentz, at the time he played for us, was elite. The game has moved past him. Yeah. I really think the injuries really did a big part of it. The concussion was a big part of it, man. And that's why I worry about Jalen Hurts. That was a very similar concussion. I heard he might be tapped for the Dallas if that job. I love what Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones didn't commit to Mike McCarthy, but praised him. But he was asked a question about ever giving up GM rights. He's like, no, I bought this team to be the GM of this team as a job till I die. I love that. Makes me so happy to know Jerry Jones is going to stay in control of the Dallas Cowboys forever. Hurts and Jordan Hicks were solid as well. Yeah, absolutely. Hurts more than Hicks, but yeah, absolutely. May not really be a Philly school, but they for sure are the most. Yeah, and I think if Temple ever made a push to be good consistently, people would latch on to Temple over Penn State. The trench is why we keep being competitive when our DBs or skill positions haven't been as talented. Yeah, absolutely. If you build from within, the rest plays out perfectly fine. Jordan Poyer, another Chip Kelly draft pick that is succeeding, just not with the Eagles. Absolutely. We got rid of him, after 1 year? It was crazy. Notre Dame surprised me. Again, I didn't pay close enough to know. But there were a lot of Penn State fans on the cruise ship, and they were all hyped about that game. For sure. And you know, I didn't get to address it, obviously. That game was postponed by a day because of the tragedy in New Orleans on New Year's Eve night, New Year's Day morning. And that was just a sick thing that happened while I was on vacation. And then they proposed or asked to have their game. No, the other game was the one that was postponed, not the Notre Dame game. And the other team asked to have the Penn State game switched time-wise for that. Or you know what I'm talking about. I can't get the thing straight on that. But, yeah. Yeah, go Temple. Let's get Temple a real football program, right? They got to get a stadium first and not rent the link out. Not a Notre Dame fan, but they'll probably beat Penn State. I don't even know what the line is on the game. Penn State's been a top 5 team all year long. I hear people saying that their quarterback should enter the draft early this year because he might be the best talented quarterback that would come out. And obviously Tyler Warren's the only name that I know off the top of my head. College football is broken. Conferences are a joke. It's all about what. Me and my brother had a big conversation about this on the cruise at the sports bar watching that game. So, Temple football coaches move on once they can bring the team to a competitive level. Yes, and some of them do fail as soon as they move on. But yeah, Temple needs to invest in a stadium. Temple needs to invest in keeping a coach for a long period of time. et cetera, et cetera. It's something that, till that happens, Temple won't be competitive enough to bring in any form of, recruiting class that sticks around for a long time. Basically, feeder for other teams. 100% agree with you on that. It is what it is. Like, I want to like college football, but I need a hometown team. Penn State, I didn't go there. They're not my hometown team. Notre Dame, not my hometown team. There is no hometown college football team for me to cheer on. I went to Widener, Division III schools, so I'm not rooting on for the Widener. What do they call it now? The Pride? I don't even know what they're called now. They used to be the Pioneers. Now they're Pride, I think. But yeah, nothing there. Nothing for it for me. And some people like the NIL, some don't. I tried to ask my brother and to explain how that the NILs won't ruin football because it's just like free agency, right? The big schools have more money to offer. So how are the little schools going to compete in that? Matt Rule is a great example of take advantage of it. Yeah, get paid. Get paid when you can. Philly ain't really a college football area. We are a pro football area. We are a better college basketball area than college football area as well. You got Villanova. You got, St. Joe's, Temple. You got, the Big Five is, pretty pumps out some quality product, especially from Villanova and occasionally Temple. So there's that. But I just don't get into college sports anymore. I wish Rule stayed on, and the Temple should have found the money to keep him. And maybe the momentum would have built, and maybe, that was, a good 10 years ago, Matt Rule? I forget how. There were two coaches in the last 20, 25 years that had some success that moved on pretty quickly. I forget which order they came in, though. Isn't that what college football was before? Schools just don't have to hide. Yeah, it's true. They just don't have to hide the money anymore. Yeah. It's making the NFL product better. Kids will stay in school maybe a little longer, maybe. Is that why you say that, Steve? I'm not sure. Temple over the last few years have put a few players into the NFL. Have they? Oh, it's good for them. Good for them. Good for them. Yeah, I mean, again, not my cup of tea. I'm still so pissed that Rule left Temple. Yeah, again, it's a shame. KC Keeler will do well at Temple and then get hired by a bigger school. Well, is he their current coach, Rick? Because again, I don't know enough about the college program, programs in general. But if he's the head coach now and he's doing a good job of developing that program, Temple needs to find some extra pennies in their budget and make sure to give him some form of lucrative extension that keeps him around longer. And then they need to find a way to get a stadium of their own, because renting the link is just never having a team playing the link with 20 people in the stands versus going and building yourself your own on campus or near campus stadium that fits 10,000, 20,000 fans would help build the environment as well. I really think that's a big part of it. And you're spending how many millions of dollars per game to use the link. So, yeah. Okay, so he is the current coach. Gotcha. Again, not enough knowledge in my brain, my little brain here, to know that. Kids are going to stay in school because they're getting paid to party and play football. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't know how we got on a Temple conversation here or a college. I blame Steve. Is it Steve? Yeah, for bringing up college football on the show today. Sounds like a broken model. It does sound like a broken model. It really does. I just can't get, like, I hated college sports because of the corruptness of it. Now I just have no love of it. NCAA could have cut NIL in the butt if they just allowed the athletes to take a little cash. I remember, there was a kid that took a job, I forget working where, at a car dealership. So he had to pay his tuition and his books and stuff like that. Wasn't on a full scholarship. And he got suspended from playing college football because he had a job. And yeah, maybe he was signing some autographs at the job and whatnot. Like, I just couldn't get over that. It is what it is. Rule's departure cleared the way for my rec basketball league coach, Ed Foley, to head coach a bowl game. Okay. All right. Yeah, you're bad. How dare you bring up college football on Eagles the first day of the playoffs, where we just finished 14-3, Steve? You're bringing in college football into an Eagle-centric show. That's like me wanting to talk about the Sixers today or the Phillies today. The playoffs started, Steve, and you switched the conversation to Temple basketball or Temple football. Damn. Way to kill the momentum of a show. Pro sports is equally as corrupt. NFL and NBA officiating. I absolutely agree. 1,000%. They sway games all. That's why I choose to bet a lot less than I did in the past, other than golf, because there's too much officiating, questionable decisions or questionable things going on, in my opinion, to really be betting on a regular basis. It is blatant and it is noticeable for sure. Oh, I made a joke about the Sixers and Rick wants to drop that. Hey, got paid to wash cars and customer service at the car dealership and got him suspended. If they, so you know what story I'm talking about. I forget when that happened, years ago, but it is what it is. And that really pissed me off. Yes, Raw on Netflix tonight. With the snow, I'll probably close early enough to actually be home for it. So it should be a star-studded affair. Golf, it's a lot harder to fix golf, K1, than it is other sports. There's not officiating swaying golf, okay? There's just not. There's just not. I'm really damn ashamed that I didn't pick Hideki. I almost went all in on Hideki and all my bets into one on Hideki for the century, but instead I chose to spread it out about a bunch of long shots. But I love to see Hideki win the first event of the year. I'm a huge Hideki fan. When he's going good, he's great. I can see myself not watching sports in 5 or 10 years, in the same way I stopped watching wrestling. I don't know if I'd completely go away from sports news, but I could see myself watching less maybe in 10 years. I would just have to find a new hobby. I agree, Eagles fan, and thanks for tuning in with your first comment. And any Eagles comment you want. We spent a lot of the show on the Eagles. We got sidetracked with college football here, Eagles fan. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. I appreciate you tuning in. I just can't get motivated because I don't have a hometown team to motivate me to be into it. That's the main thing. Raw on Netflix definitely has my interest. Yeah. They're keeping it PG, but yeah, they're going to make it edgier. Look, I'll watch it tonight if I'm home in time. And all the other work I got to do, I got to shovel driveway. I got, shows to set up for tomorrow and to record tonight. There's lots to do, but I should be in front of my TV by 8 o'clock tonight for it. So it'd be interesting. Pro golf pays enough per match that it's hard to corrupt. Yeah, very hard to corrupt the game of golf. But on the flip side, it's the only game or sport out there where gambling happens on the course. And it's okay. I don't think you guys realize, the casual golf fans, that, say, a big one always happened. Phil Mickelson, especially when he would be teamed up with or scheduled to play against Ricky Fowler. They'd have their tournament going on. They'd be playing to win the tournament. But before the round starts, they're playing $1,000 a hole, $5,000 a hole. So there's in-game betting going on while the game's going on, and it's not illegal. I've seen after practice rounds videos of golfers exchanging $100 bills in the parking lot by their cars because they're gambling while they're playing, and it's okay. It's the only sport that's okay. That there's side. It's like poker. I don't know if anybody's a poker player. And at some point this week, I'll go off on the cruise ship poker dealers. They were terrible. Poker players do it all the time. Side bets on a tournament or in cash game. Golf's the only sport where side bets are 100% legal. Thank you very much, Rick. We are back. Go Birds. That's right. That's right. I don't know how much longer we're going to go. We might only go about 15 more minutes. I got to clean the car off. I got to finish shoveling the driveway so I can get out, so I can get to work. But yeah. Giants are keeping Brian Dabble. Is that official? Official? I can understand. I can make an argument for Brian Dabble. But Joe Schoen should be fired to the moon. But great for us, though. Back to Eagles. Can you see Saquon possibly motivated even more this playoff run because he couldn't go for the record? Yeah, if you're not going for the record, I know your thoughts is if you don't win the Super Bowl, not getting the record is pointless. I get your take on that. But you have to have a chance for the Super Bowl, and you have a chance for the Super Bowl if Saquon's healthy and rested. So yeah, I think Saquon wants that Super Bowl more than anything. I truly do. Deep down inside, yeah, he might have wanted the record, but I know he wants the Super Bowl more. So he's going to have an extra edge, an extra chip on his shoulder, and he's going to have 7 extra days of rested legs to go out there and hopefully be 110%. Eagles, I know you love that 10-point win. I don't know if it's 10 points yet. Until I see the injury report on Jordan Love and Christian Watson, I can't make the assumption yet. That's the Giants' way of saying, yeah, we effed up hard with both Danny Dimes and Saquon. 2 in the pink for 1 in the. Oh my God, I almost said that out loud. Yeah, man, terrible. The problem is the single season is more gettable for Barkley than the season plus record. It's one and done. Yeah, look, I get it. Yeah, college football to me is offense, marching up and down the field. No defense, it just doesn't do it for me. It's the men's league or a league. Yeah, absolutely agree. I just don't like it. You have the side bets. I always have side bets on everything I do. You expecting some snow? We have already gotten some snow here. I live in Coatesville. I work in Kennett Square. There's a coating on the driveway. I did a quick pass of the shovel before the show to make it after the show a little easier. They're expecting about 3 inches here in the Coatesville, Kennett area today. I've seen 2 to 4, 3 to 5. I'm expecting 2 or 3 inches today, just enough to get me to work, to do a little bit of work. My restaurant's been closed for a week, just like the show has been closed. But I got to get the store opened up at least for a few hours. We typically do a lot of big business on snow days, especially at lunch. Businesses feeding their employees to get them to show up to work. So I expect some business today, but then we'll probably close up early today because I hate driving in the nighttime in the snow. But I hear rumors that there might be another storm coming on Saturday too. Living in Philly back in the day, you learn some snow lessons. Salt before it snows. You see, the problem is we don't use salt in our driveway because the dogs walk on it. It's bad for the dog's feet, so we don't salt our driveway. At the very bottom of my driveway has a little hill, and I'll go out there and salt that a little bit. But yeah, here in Williamsport, PA, we have a small dusting. We're supposed to get a couple inches as well. Yeah, Williamsport, PA, home of the Little League World Series, right there. Love it for you checking in. I have a little pizza shop in Kennett Square, PA. Yes, the Lions are a tough out. Speed creates mismatch problems. They're never out of it with their offense. Yeah, and somebody said earlier, Terran Arnold's now out. I guess breaking news that he got hurt in the game last night, and it's pretty serious. I don't know the details yet. But yeah, the Lions are going to be. I said it earlier, Delco Green. It's coach of the year for Dan Campbell for me, for keeping that team and 25 guys on IR as competitive they are. It's crazy. It's crazy. Dotson now saying anyone shoveling over the age of. Doctors now saying anyone shoveling over the age of 45, cardiac arrest. Really? Well, I'm 44, so I guess I'm allowed to shovel today. There's never been a 2-time 2,000-yard rusher. His chances he gets to break this record again is less likely. Yeah, look, I get it. Who doesn't love pizza? Everybody loves pizza. I get it. You wanted the record. I get it. Is not out, but he is in a boot. Okay, gotcha. He's in a boot. Gotcha. I want the Super Bowl so bad for Saquon, it's not even funny. I want the Super Bowl just because I want the Super Bowl. I used to live in Coatesville. I'm now in how about that, Dana Scott? Pleasure you tuning in this morning. Yeah, we just moved to Coatesville in April, so this is my first snowfall. Significant snowfall here in Coatesville. We do go to Parksburg all the time because we love the grocery outlet there in Parksburg. So yeah, there we go on that. Look at that. Small world. Just right down the street from you, right on Strasburg Road. That's what I mean. Barkley will more than likely not get another chance. Is small. He should have gotten his chance. I know, but you go out there and do that, and he sprains an ankle and is on out 2 to 3 weeks, or if he goes out there and pulls a hammy, or he goes out there and gets his knee bent the wrong way, y'all be crying a different story today. Why would Nick Sirianni play him in a meaningless football game? Trust me, if Saquon Barkley plays yesterday, breaks the record, but gets hurt in the process and misses time in the playoffs, you all would be totally 1,000% talking a different narrative today. What's up, Relaunch? It's been a while since I've seen you. Maybe Campbell's coaching style is why they have so many. Maybe. And I saw a narrative or an article or something a week or two ago about Nick Sirianni's philosophies in practice and in the offseason have been criticized by me as well. But we've also had the least injured team the last 2 years. So maybe Nick Sirianni's ways is better. As long as you're not the one ripping Phillies. There's always people ripping me on social media. Hey, it's part of the game. It's part of the game. Real quick, I had somebody yesterday. I don't even know what it was about. Something about the Eagles are a great team. I don't know. And some Giants fan was quote tweeting me nonstop talking about just give us a year. If the Giants will be better than the Eagles within a year or two. I laughed. They're like, yo, Giants fans are delusional thinking that they're going to be better than the Eagles in 2 years. Delusional. Especially now knowing Dabble and Schoen are staying. Jeez. And it was like this 5-minute argument back and forth with me and multiple Giants people thinking that the Eagles suck and that the Giants will be better real soon. It's like, you're crazy. Doctors don't know shit. Exercise is good for you, yeah. Well, I need a lot of exercise. A week on a cruise ship, dude, I feel like I gained 20 pounds. He can sprain an ankle or pull a hammy. He can. But you don't put them in a position to an unnecessarily risky position like that. A meaningless football game versus practicing for the Packers this week. Practicing for the Packers is way more important than playing against the Giants last week or yesterday. You can sprain an ankle or pull a hammy eating pizza. You could. I may have sprained a hammy doing it before. Giants need the better part of 5 years, at least. At least. They played the Knicks Stars all over 40 minutes versus OKC when they had 3 games in 4 days. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's Tom Thibodeau's for you. They have an amazing trainers. Saquon had over 300-plus rushes a season. Look, I get it. And you guys didn't have all last week to argue with me about it, but I think they made the right decision, personally. No, I've owned a pizza shop for almost 17 years. Spent another 8-9 years working in pizza shops. I eat pizza every day. The first thing I'll do today is after I make my first pizza is grab a slice. For sure. For sure. All right. We're coming up to the final 5 minutes. We got to keep it short and sweet today with the snow out there because I do have to make sure I plan a little extra time to get to work today. But that being said, it's going to be a jam-packed week this week with the Eagles, with the Packers, as more information comes out about injuries, as we learn more about Jalen Hurts today. And I hate that Nick Sirianni's got to give us a little bit more on Jalen Hurts. He says so little, and I get it. And it just gives the conspiracy theorists out there more to play on. And I'm more concerned every day that he doesn't get cleared from concussion protocol. I am, because I thought it was a terrible concussion that he took. But we'll see on all that as this week goes on. I'm sure I'll find some Sixers information because I haven't watched or looked at the Sixers once. I don't even know what their record was while I was away, but we'll talk that as well this week for a little bit. The NFL ability to flip a record is higher now, but you need a base to do that, though, and the Giants killed their chances. Yeah, absolutely, Doc. The Giants are so far. That Giants fan that was coming at me on Twitter last night, insane. Just a baseless fan that has no clue what they're talking about. Just blindly believing in their team. And you know what? I will give that person credit for blindly believing in their team. It's like all the times we believed in the Sixers the last couple of years, blindly, even knowing that they were bad. It's what it is. How many records in sports does Philly have? Imagine saying the season they won their second Super Bowl. Imagine saying that they broke that record, but lost in the first round of the playoffs because their running back got hurt in that game. Just say, I see your side of it. I see everybody that's on the side of go for the record's opinion. I just believe that wins mean more. That's it. Winning games and winning championships means more. Sports is about winning and winning championships. And I believe no one player is bigger than the team, record or not. And I don't care who it is. That's just me. But that's fine. And I get and I understand. I understand why you and Duck and others feel that way. I just personally can't agree to it. The Jets have a better chance. Yeah. Look, was yesterday Aaron Rodgers' last game? A lot of rumors floating that yesterday was his last game. We'll see when that news breaks. I can't wait till he retires and he gets off my TV screen. He'll actually end up on my TV screen more. Probably. Giants might be the 32nd best franchise in the NFL. Even Trinidad knows. Yeah, exactly. If Trinidad was still watching, he would be on my side probably in this argument. He's never on my side on an argument. But that's what that is, right, guys? Whatever. Look, Aaron Rodgers, we might have seen his last game. There's that. I feel bad for Jarrett Mayo getting fired so quickly after the game yesterday. I think there's more to that story than leads. I don't know if anybody saw it. There was a video floating around that on the NFL Fox post-game show that Gronkowski was trying to go in on the Patriots and really tear into them for firing Mayo after one season, and they cut to commercial super quick. I think there's more to that story than's let on. We got a jam-packed week this week. Obviously, we're back 5 days a week right here, trending in the AM. Fairway to Heaven, Season 2 debuts tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Philly Press Box Radio back to their regular Wednesdays at 7 p.m. time. Look at that. This network now has 7 shows on it this week. How about that? And maybe we'll even do an Eagles pregame show on Sunday, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what the schedule's like. We're going to have 7 or 8 shows this week on this channel. Damn. Back at it this week. I'm super excited. I'm glad I'm semi-refreshed from vacation. Like I said, a little bit of something going on here, virus-wise. But, yeah, we're back. Please like, share, subscribe. Do it. Aaron Rodgers is so high on something. He is. I can't stand Aaron Rodgers. The other thing I didn't mention, I didn't see any clips online, but I saw some reviews. I guess Jason Kelsey's Saturday night talk show debuted on Saturday night. I was too busy partying on Saturday night or Friday night, whenever it was, on vacation to watch it. But I heard the reviews were pretty bad. Get Jason Kelsey off I told you it was a bad idea, that talk show. But anyway, go Birds, Jets, Giants. Yeah, bubbles up. Yeah, basically. I had a lot of bubbles up on vacation. When you go on a cruise, you have the option to add an all-inclusive drink package to it as well. Of course, I did that. I drank a lot. New favorite drink of all time. It was only available in one bar on the cruise ship, Schooner Bar. It's a staple of Royal Caribbean ships. And they had a drink called a toasted marshmallow old fashioned. I hate old fashions, but the toasted marshmallow old fashioned. Let me tell you something. It was amazing. Oh, amazing. They used Buffalo Trace with it, cocoa bitters, marshmallow syrup, giant ice cube, stir it up, drop some toasted marshmallows in it. Damn, it was good. I was having 3 to 5 to 7 of those every single night for 7 days straight. No wonder I'm, still hungover. It's on YouTube. I might. We'll see what the day's like. Maybe I'll catch little bits and pieces of it. Sounds pretty good. It was freaking amazing, Judd. Freaking amazing. My goal is to go out there and find the marshmallow syrup, the cocoa bitters, and buy the Buffalo Trace. Buy myself something to make a giant ice cube. I'm going to be making them soon. Don't you worry about that. I am going to go into a several-week detox, though. I drank that much over the last 7 days that it's going to be a while until I have another alcoholic beverage in my system. But anyway, guys, with that being said, we're back trending in the AM, the STT Sports Network, back in full force for 2025. We're at 336 subscribers to start the day. We'll see where we end the week. But we need to take this channel to the next level, guys. So with that being said, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Go Birds and bubbles up.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep.